This one was a really good one. I feel like it was kind of on a personal level, and it was also for a group that I was attending. But it was this awesome vision from God on May 12th, 2020, and it says, "Light bearer, pick up your torch, be the light in the darkness, draw everyone to you and to your light." Then I could hear the song from High School Musical, which I'm not going to sing it for you, but it goes along the lines of like, I want to find you there, I want to hold on tight, and I want to keep the faith. And then like it just kept repeating, keep the faith, every day. And I feel like he was saying we need to keep our faith, like keep our faith at the forefront of what we're doing. And then I heard God say, pick up your torch, like pick up the torch, light bearer. I saw the scene from National Treasure where they're ducking and maneuvering through the dark tunnel, and like their torch is leading the way, and they're just, kind of making their way through this scary tunnel. And then they come to an opening and they stand up and they begin to walk into the treasure room. But when they first get there, like they didn't really know that that was the treasure room. But it was completely dark, and so they're standing there with this one torch and they can't see very much. They can't see very far ahead of them. And so then, I think it's Nicolas Cage, he takes his torch and, runs his fingers and figures out it's gunpowder. And so he leans the torch down and starts the gunpowder on fire, and you can just see this whole thing light up from his one torch, from the one torch that he had. All of this flame and all of this light just, showed up, and it just kept going and going and going, and then it would separate, and then it would go, and then it would separate, and it was just this, you could see this massive room. I don't know, hopefully you've seen National Treasure. If not, then watch it, and you could just see this huge, huge treasure room, and it all started like from his one torch, and he just keeps going and going. So I feel like the word that God is sharing through this is that we have stepped into the great unknown, and yes, it's uncharted waters, and it's undiscovered land. It may seem dark and scary and uncomfortable, but I feel like everyone is looking to everybody right now to better understand what is going on. So it's like God took the game board and just shuffled it around and threw the pieces everywhere and was like, okay, we're on to a new phase, and we're like trying to figure out, do we go pick up the pieces and like try to start this game over, or do we stop playing, or like are we starting a new game? Where are we at? And like, why did you pick it up? Kind of thing. Like that's just what I've been feeling. And I feel like what he was saying is that he's calling his prophets to pick up the torches that he has given to them and to lead the way into the great unknown. And I also feel like the emphasis was on the treasure room. It was like even though they were walking through these dark and scary tunnels, they knew that they were entering the treasure room, so they kept going. Even if it was scary and dark, they knew there was something on the other side that they wanted to get to, so they kept going and they kept pushing. And they were joyfully expectant of what they would find on the other side. And the whole movie was about them finding this treasure, and so they were joyfully expectant, like really just holding on to this joy that we're going to find this, and everything's going to be worth it. And so they weren't scared, but it was like as soon as they were on the other side, then they could see that everything was worth it. And that's what I feel like God is trying to show us, that we have been called to pick up the torches and to lead his people, because we have spent so much time in the secret place with God. We know his voice. We know his heart. We know how to hear from him, and we see from him in new and different and unique ways that people around us don't yet even understand. And so I feel like God has given us the blueprints of this new season and saying it's time for us to pick up the torch. It's time for us to lead his people into his treasure room, into the treasure, into the promised land that he has. And the light begins to travel further and further into the world, just kind of like in a treasure room. Like all it takes is one person, and then they touch this life, and then that life touches this life, and it just continues to expand, and it goes further and further. And more people will begin to see the treasure of God, and they will receive him and hear him and see him how we have seen from him and heard from him all along. We can be the light in the darkness because we know where we are headed. We don't need to see because we can walk by faith, not by sight. We just know that we're just going to follow God and it's going to be okay. Where the rest of the world right now if they don't have that faith, then it's really hard and it's scary and it feels like it's over. But we have that light. We know where it ends. Or we know where we're going, I guess. And so I've just been really feeling like for the whole year of 2020, yes, I know this word was from a while ago, is that the time is now, and that I feel like that is so prevalent right now, and we are all feeling the heaviness of this season and the magnitude of what God is doing and what He's downloading right now. I feel like this also is kind of a word that can like continue to come up, and now that we're kind of in this new year of 2022, I even feel it now that this is just as much of our mission or our purpose, I guess, now as it was when He gave me this word. That it is the time is now. The time is now, and we can feel the seasons and the shiftings and the magnitude of what God is wanting to do and what He is wanting to download and what He is wanting to give us. And so I just want to encourage you guys, like, pick up your torches, pick them up and step out into the great unknown and follow the Father, follow Him, and we will begin to see what He has in store for us, and then we can begin to show that to the rest of the world. And our light, His light through us, will continue to spread further and further and further. And so yeah, I just really pray that this would be encouragement to you, or encouragement to anyone else that you may know that is in a season of, looking for that light at the end of the tunnel. That we will find that light, that treasure room, the deeper that we go with God and the relationship that we're building with Him. And that it's not about religion, it's about a relationship. All of these things will come to you as you build a relationship with God. This is not about what to do here, or how to do this, or how to say that, or you can only get this gifting by doing these things. No, this is about having a relationship with God, and He wanting to just give you the treasures of heaven. He loves you. You are His child. He loves you so much. Like, He just wants to give you the treasures if you seek Him out. And so, let's step into that calling of being that light bearer and pick up our torches, and we can show everyone that God is the light that is in the darkness.